I don't know if I've ever disagreed with something more. Jamie Lloyd, we need a cast recording of this. And it's like, ah! I like theatre that makes people think, oh, I'm confused. Attacked top grade theatre. Hi friends, how are you? I hope that you're very, very well. As Cher in the Cher show would say. I'm back, baby! Right, this is a video about Evita. If you want to see that and you're not interested in where I've been or who I am, here is the timestamp that you need to go to. Okay, for anybody who has stayed, hi, it's me. I don't know if there's like anybody here, but if you are interested, I am back. I'm going to try to do this again. I've really missed it. I've missed YouTube and I've missed theatre. Basically, I got really busy. Since my last video, I hadn't uploaded in a while and I was like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be great. And then we had a loss in the family and that took some time. And then we started planning our wedding. And planning a wedding, whew, not for the faint of heart. But anyway, we got married. If you're interested in the pictures, there's some over on my Instagram because I know you're all nosy just like me. We got married about a month ago and now I'm here. I have wanted to start again a few times, but I've been so nervous about it and I just didn't know if there would be anybody here and if anything would still be relevant and like, but then I just thought, do you know what? When I started doing YouTube, I didn't do it because I was like, there's gonna be so many people there. I did it because I wanted to make some friends and I wanted to talk about something I loved and that was the idea. And so I want to kind of focus more on that and coming back and just enjoying it and talking about things that I like. And I was really nervous as well that I would come back and feel like I was just kind of talking to nobody. Whereas like when I used to do videos, I would very much feel like I was talking to somebody. And because it has been a while, I was nervous that it wouldn't feel like that. So I basically asked on my Instagram, I said, I'm thinking of doing a video on Evita. Let me know your thoughts. And then people submitted what they thought about Evita and I thought that we could use it more as like a conversation. I was thinking like people used to enjoy my unpopular opinions videos and this kind of feels a bit more like that. So I thought going forward, if like I want to talk about something, I might ask on my Instagram, get people's opinions and we do it more as like we're all kind of doing it together, like we're having a chat. So yeah, it might not work, it might work. I've just screenshotted people's thoughts and I'm going to share them and talk about Evita. Stunning. I got the program, also got the vinyl. I've not opened it yet because I don't know, it feels too good to open. Anyway, Evita. I'll be honest, when it was first announced, I didn't book tickets because I talked about it with my friends and they were like, oh, the tickets are really expensive. I didn't even look into how much they were, but I was like, oh, I'm planning a wedding. Your girl can't afford to go to the theatre. And then a few weeks ago, I saw that clip of Rachel Zegler doing the first dress rehearsal of Don't Cry for Me Argentina on the balcony. And I was like, oh my god, that looks amazing. She's incredible. What am I gonna do? I don't have tickets. So immediately I went on and tried to get tickets. It was literally right before the wedding and I was like, Lucy, I know that we're like, whew, we've just paid for a wedding, but I have to buy tickets for Evita and I have to have the good ones. So maybe we'll have a day less on our honeymoon. But the best I could get was for in August and then the show opened and every day people were showing videos of the outside and then people were going to the press night and I was like, oh my god, I have to be there. I went on Thematic and saw that they were doing the lottery. I didn't realise before. Went in for it, didn't get it, but the second time I tried, I did. Yeah, so got tickets last week. Just wow. Also, Olivia Rodrigo was sat like just a few rows in front of me, which was also very cool. And Stephen Sater, who wrote Spring Awakening. It was a cool night, but oh my god, this show. I just had so many thoughts. And it seems like lots of people have lots of opinions on it, so let's look at what people have to say on Instagram. Great. The first one I get is, never seen it, but I know that one girl in Glee ate up Buenos Aires. It's always back to Glee with you, like, isn't it? Always back to Glee. I agree. Lindsay Pearce, you will always be famous. Gerber baby, you will always be famous. And if anybody was wondering, by the way, did we have Glee music at the wedding? Of course we did. We actually had a Glee counter for how many times Glee was mentioned. We had Marry You as we went onto the dance floor just before our first dance. Run Joey Run with a full dance routine from Lucy and her friends. And Don't Stop Believing is our final song. Yeah, there was a lot of Glee at our wedding. There really was. We said to our DJ, if there's a song and they have a Glee version, we want the Glee version. Okay, next. You need to do a Wicked movie review. Guys, I asked for opinions on Jamie Lloyd's production of Evita. Would people be interested in a movie review of Wicked? I have a lot of opinions, but I thought it was too late to do one now. But if people are interested, I'd love to talk about it. Okay, finally, Rachel Zegler is a star. Bestie. So true. I don't think I've ever seen a show where I literally haven't been able to take my eyes off someone so much. She is so tiny, but she just commands that stage. She absolutely steals the show. I mean, everyone in the cast is amazing. Literally everybody is so strong. The energy that the cast are putting in is just ridiculous. But she just steals the show. She's so like enigmatic and you just want to stare at her. And there's something that feels very special about seeing her in this production. She's so young. Eva Peron is such a big role. Not that many people have played her. It just feels incredibly special. I mean, Rachel is just so incredibly talented. She's a complete powerhouse as well. Like her voice is so strong. That girl was belting her face off. I mean, just ridiculous. I think the fact that like, obviously she's like done theatre growing up and stuff. She hasn't been to a conservatoire or a drama school and done like professional training. And the fact that she is like owning the Palladium stage. I mean, she deserves all the flowers, deserves all the awards. She's just incredible. I think as well we're really lucky to have Rachel Zegler in the theatre world. Like she's so ridiculously talented. She's amazing on screen. I think I could really see in this show like what stage presence she had. You can tell that she's a Taylor Swift fan. Do you know what I mean? She was doing the Taylor Swift I'm a pop star thing. If you know, you know. I think like, God, Rachel Zegler, she could be a pop girly. She is a movie girly, but we've got her in the West End right now, and that's so cool. And I just think we're really lucky to have her. I love as well that you can tell how much Rachel Zegler loves theatre, and she loves what she's doing with so much passion. You can just tell in the way she performs, and then in the way that she takes in her bows, and it's really lovely to see. And the way that Rachel Zegler owns her being a bit of a geek and loving theatre and stuff is like really amazing to see on such like a big stage. By big stage, I don't necessarily mean the Palladium, but I mean like her space within like media. I also think Rachel Zegler, like just as a side note, has had such a hard time of it in her career. She gets torn apart online by the right wing, and it's like all she ever does is really talented and has strong morals and cares about things and is a good person and uses her platform to talk about the things that she cares about. And for some reason they're like, yeah, I will pick on this little theatre kid. Really? I saw a review after press night and it was like about the haters with Don't Cry for Me Argentina being done on the balcony rather than in the theatre, and the haters and going on about Rachel Zegler. And it's like, firstly, she's in a production. She doesn't make those kinds of decisions. It's like she's done this amazing performance and you're leading your review. Even if you say a bunch of really nice stuff in the review, you're leading it with, oh, there's haters. On this like young girl who's doing this like monumental role, and I'm like, oh my God, what is with people? Literally all she does is just be really talented and nice. And then also, like I say, she loves theatre, and at the end of the day, Rachel Zegler was one of us, and she still is at her core. She was there back in the day, uploading videos of her covering musical theatre songs and being on Stan Twitter. We were there with her when she wasn't like famous, and now she's like at the Oscars, and she's opened her first show in the West End to like the most amazing reviews, and like people who aren't even part of theatre are talking about it, and it's amazing. She had the same dreams that we all had, and like she's done it, and that's amazing, and I'm so proud of her. Like it might sound condescending, and like who am I to say that I'm proud of her, but like I am. She's done so well. Okay, back to people's opinions. My friend Lewis said Rachel was puss diva, but did I have a clue what was going on? Nope, nish, nada. Somebody else said I really enjoyed it. Defo should have looked up the plot before though. I was very confused. Someone else said on a technical level amazing, on a storytelling level completely incoherent. So I went into the show knowing it very well. I love Evita. It's one of my favourite Andrew Lloyd Webber shows. I love big kind of grand music that's kind of angry, and Evita has a lot of that. I don't know if I've ever made a playlist without I'd Be Surprisingly Good for You on it. The Philip Quast, Elena Roger version. Musical theatre. So I went into it knowing the story of Evita. So like I understood what was going on because I know the story so well. Lucy went into it not knowing, but she said that it was easy to understand Ava's storyline, but it was a little bit confusing about like who Che was and the Argentinian political system. I think that is more where the confusion is, because there is a lot of like, wait, who's who? And like, are these good guys or bad guys? So I do get that. I think if you know that Che, he's like the narrator in Blood Brothers, but he's like cool, but he like represents the people of Argentina. Argentina. Yeah, Argentina. Oh my God, why did I just forget what the name of that country was? Jesus Louises. He represents the people of Argentina. Because I do think that sometimes you could have thought that Rachel and Diego, maybe you thought that they were in a relationship, because they have a lot of chemistry and they have a lot of action on stage together. And then I do think that the Argentinian political system is just kind of confusing as well for people who aren't, you know, well versed in it. Personally, afterwards I was like, to be fair, what is Peronism and do I understand it? And I went away and tried to see if I understood it, and I don't think I do. It seems like it means different things to different people. So I do understand audiences being confused, but I think that is more to the fact of the story rather than this production in particular. Oh, I did just love it though. It was so good. Like this person said, on a technical level, amazing. Technical side of this show is spectacular. It is epic. And that's kind of the only way that you can describe it, I think. Like, it's so loud. It's so kind of confronting. Like, I was sat in the circle. I felt like I was there with the cast. I felt like I was in the show. It was so kind of electric. The lights were so bright and there was just so much kind of thrown at you. As an audience member, there were times where I was like, oh my God. I felt it like I was there in Argentina with them. The way that the music and the sound and the lighting, how they all came together was just like this amazing melting pot of just like top grade theatre. It was just excellent. So a clip of Rachel Zegler singing Rainbow High went on TikTok, and I saw people saying like the lighting when she's like, I'm their saviour, that's what they call me. And the lights went up and it literally was like, the lighting design, the sound design, they should be getting all the awards. Somebody said it's very loud and very bright, but Rachel is incredible. I mean, I thought it was very loud and very bright, and Rachel is incredible. I mean, I do get it, I'll be honest. I sent a voice note to my friends during the interval and I was like, it's so loud, like low-key giving me a headache. But I've said it a million times on here, but I like loud theatre and I like big energy and I like feeling like attacked as an audience member. I really liked that aspect of it, but I do understand why it might not be for everybody. Okay, somebody said, I love Jamie Lloyd and how he's making his own theatre language with the style. I agree. So it seems like the main thing that people might not like about this production is specifically Jamie Lloyd's style of theatre, which he's kind of created with his last 3 shows. Obviously, Jamie Lloyd has been a director for many, many years. I have spoken about his work on here before. I loved his production of Assassins at the Menier back in the day. I think he is passionate and I think he tries to bring something new to theatre. I didn't see Romeo and Juliet and I didn't see Sunset Boulevard, so I can't comment in this compared to them, but the way that people were talking about it, I was imagining I would go in and it would just be like somebody with a camera filming like the show the whole time, and you would kind of see it on screen the whole time. I mean, I didn't know. So the way that people were talking about, oh, it's just another Jamie Lloyd having a live video feed again and again, that's what I was expecting. And then by the end of Act 1, this is a spoiler, I hadn't seen anybody on a screen yet and I was like, oh, I'm confused. This production has very little sets, very minimal costumes, and it's more just about telling the story through the music, especially with like a sung through show like Evita. I think it works really well, kind of leaning more heavily on the material rather than the external things like grand set and costumes and stuff. Personally, I really like this style of theatre. I like that although it was a massive production and it filled the Palladium and more more so. Obviously, even so much that it's out on the streets. But I like that if somebody wanted to, they could do this same production pretty much in a tiny theatre with like 50 seats in the audience. Personally, it feels like this is a tiny show that has been put on a grand scale, rather than just because it's in a big theatre it has to have all the bells and whistles. I think not every production does need that. You know, just because a show is a revival, when it's revived, it doesn't need to be a carbon copy. I like that it's different. I like that it's new. I saw somebody saying that, like, I can't remember where I saw it. I don't know if it was on Twitter or in a review, but I saw somebody say, I think Jamie Lloyd hates musicals.
Wrong.
I don't know if I've ever disagreed with something more. I think that, if anything, this show is someone who loves musicals. I think that he wants us to see the story, and he wants us to hear the music and feel it and not need a big set and, you know, hundreds of costumes. Sometimes theatre can feel a bit too far away from some people, and I think this is maybe more palatable for the general public as well. Somebody else said, stunning. I really feel like every decision served the message well, although the narrative got lost. I do agree with this. I think that, like I said about the storyline, there's some complex narrative in there around the political system and things, but there is such a strong message to this production. I think there's various messages going on, like Don't Cry for Me Argentina. The crowd outside who haven't paid see the big show-stopping number. They see her wig and bejeweled gown, and the people inside watch a screen. On that screen we saw a different side of Ava. I think there's the whole thing of the elitism of having, you know, expensive tickets in the theatre and people outside listening to Ava for free, and similar to the way the people inside the Casa Rosara and the people outside the real Ava Peron would do her big speeches. But then I also think, like, outside and what the audience has seen and what the general public and anybody who's kind of seen things about the show has seen Rachel Zegler, Hollywood movie star, in a beautiful wig, beautiful gown, singing to the people, and then inside we see her without her wig on. We see her in a simple black crop top and shorts, and the pain in Ava Peron. It's like we saw behind the curtain. I like a show with a message. I like theatre that makes people think. I saw this show last week. I haven't stopped thinking about it. I've talked about it like every day, and I keep thinking something new. I cannot wait to go back again. Somebody else said, a new Argentina was one of the best experiences I've ever had in a theatre. Oh my god, wholeheartedly agree. I bloody loved it. It was so epic. Like, epic is kind of the only way you can describe it. It's like relentless, and it's loud. It's like so full and energetic and like electric, and there's flags and there's confetti and everyone's like singing really loud, and it's like, ah! You know when you're in the theatre and you like feel it inside and it's like vibrating? I would go back just to see a new Argentina again. I want them to release a recording of it so much. Oh my god, we need a cast recording. We need a cast recording of this. I have to hear Diego singing all of Che's songs again. I have to hear Rachel singing Rainbow High again. Oh my god. Okay, somebody said, I haven't seen it, but I'm really put off by spending that much money and not even seeing the main song. So let's talk about Don't Cry for Me Argentina. Act 2 begins. We see Ava walking out onto the balcony, and there's a massive screen on stage, and you see her like face super up close, and then you see the audience and the cast are outside and they're all singing and crying. I'll be honest, I didn't love it. I think Rachel sang it amazingly. I think it works really well. I like the message, but for me, and this is a spoiler, there's various video feeds of like audience versus Ava and different angles and stuff, and they were kind of layered on top of each other too much for my personal liking. I found it like kind of difficult to tell what I should be looking at, and I didn't really like that. That's the only reason I wasn't a huge fan of Don't Cry for Me Argentina, but I think it actually did work really well, and I don't think as an audience member, like, I didn't feel like I wasn't seeing it live. So her voice is played into the theatre. You wouldn't know that she wasn't on stage. We actually got to see her super up close, and it also felt really special to be part of something that those same people won't be there the next day. There's something so amazing about live theatre in that way, and I liked that we shared it inside and outside together. Somebody else said, was initially sad about Don't Cry for Me Argentina, but actually it was incredible seeing her face so close up. I completely agree. I think like, even though you weren't seeing it, it brought it closer to you. I thought it worked really well. And I think people are like getting aggy about it online. The people who probably wouldn't have even bought tickets anyway. You know, all these people who are like doing think pieces on, you pay so much to be in the theatre and blah, blah, blah. And like the cast gives so much in this show. There is so much. She like barely leaves the stage throughout the whole production. I didn't feel like I needed her to be there because we'd already had so much of her, which I guess could be another message of the show. Jamie Lloyd. Somebody else said, I've only seen the bit outside for Don't Cry for Me Argentina. I'm intrigued what happens inside the theatre. So I can give a spoiler. Got this massive screen where you're seeing Rachel interspersed with clips of the descamisados outside, and they're all crying. They've got like those kind of drops that you can put on to make you cry. We see the general public and the road outside Argyle Street closed off and just like full of people. As it first showed all of the people outside, everyone in the theatre like gasped, and some people were cheering. You could hear cheering from outside. It was amazing. Then afterwards, we see her go back in and make her way back to the stage. So just on that same point, someone said, I haven't seen it, but how do they make Rachel's change into a blonde wig work? So again, this is a spoiler. Ava has the first act with her hair down, natural hair. She's wearing like a black crop top and shorts and knee-high boots. Second act begins and we see her in her wig with the white dress and with her jewels on, going out to go and like talk to the people and do Don't Cry for Me Argentina. We see her go back into the theatre and have a moment in front of a mirror. She takes her wig off, takes her dress off, and she's down to then like a white crop top and white shorts, and she's in that for the rest of the show. So back to her normal hair, takes her wig cap off, and then after she has died, I can't remember now if it's after she's died or before. I think it's after she's died. Members of the cast come on and get her dressed to be the Ava Perón again. So they put her in her dress, put her jewels on, and put her wig on stage. And I actually really liked it. It was this kind of sweet moment of kind of preparing her to be seen by the public again. And I liked that we as the audience were in on that. Right, somebody said, I felt like some of the costuming was inconsistent. I completely agree. This was something I really didn't like about the show. I think the simple black costumes work well, but there were some moments where members of the ensemble were playing members of parliament or royalty or like the upper echelons of society, and they were wearing a lot of like gold lame, is that what it's called? Like gold lame fabric that's like that kind of plasticky, shiny, stretchy material. It really looked like somebody had gone, oh crap, we need to make them look like they're rich. How are we gonna do that? Oh, I'll run down to the fabric shop, get the cheapest gold fabric, and I'll whip something together. I think it really cheapened it, and especially for something that is supposed to represent them looking better, I don't think it worked. I like the idea of having like really simple bases for the ensemble and for everybody really. I do like that, but I think the touches of costume could have just been done with a little bit more of a finer hand. It felt a bit heavy. Something else that I didn't love was the choreography. I thought some choreography worked amazingly and it was so like dynamic and wow, you are a sexy bunch of people. I was like, wow. I thought sometimes it was a bit cringe. I like choreography to like tell a story and feel like it's there for a reason, and I think some big parts of the show that was the case, but I think for some it felt like I'm just gonna do a bit of a hip-hop inspired situation, not really for a reason. There was some twerking, and like twerking's fine, but it also felt like it came out of nowhere. I was a bit like, what's going on? And that happened quite early on in the show, and I was like, what? Some bits were great. The cast were just ridiculous with it. Like the amount of energy they had. It's like, holy crap. It's very hot in London at the moment as well. I'm like, oh, hats off to you. And probably pants off because it's so hot. That didn't sound right. I'm a married woman. Somebody said, if Rachel gets sick, will the show still work, or does it only work because of her? No hate to Bella, love her. Bella Brown is Rachel's understudy, and she actually had her first performance last night. I watched a video of her this morning, and oh my god, she was, what I could see of her was amazing. Ridiculous voice, ridiculous talent. I was worried about the same thing. I thought, is this show only gonna work because Rachel Zegler is so kind of mesmerizing and you just can't stop looking at it? But I think that actually it's very much the direction that Ava as a character is this diva, everybody needs to look at her, grabs the attention, you love her, you kind of hate her at the same time. Like, I think that's more the production. And I do think from the little bit that I saw of Bella, of her Don't Cry for Me Argentina, she was amazing. Something I did think about Rachel, I thought she was absolutely breathtaking, a powerhouse. I think that at times she felt too young, just from how young she looks. I think Rachel Zegler is 24, but she could easily pass for like a teenager, I think. Just from her stature, she's like little and short and stuff. So when she was in her later years, even though she's only like early 30s, she felt a little bit too young. But I also think that it's amazing casting to have Rachel, and she does an amazing job with it. It's one of those things that she couldn't possibly change, you know? And I thought the bit that I saw of Bella, I thought that she maybe looked a little bit more age appropriate for Ava. So I would be really interested to see her as well. Okay, I love this comment. Someone said, I've not seen Evita, however, I've not seen a show with such hype in a long time. Even general public are talking about it as a spectacle and an event, and I think that's a win. I completely agree. I like that everybody is talking about it. People who've never talked about Evita before in their life probably have never even heard of it before. Like, oh my god, Rachel Zegler, have you seen her outside? Sometimes there's a lot of hype around shows, and sometimes I don't think they always necessarily live up to the hype. I think this show massively does. I think it is worth every penny. I got a cheap ticket because I won the lottery, but I do think it is worth the price of an expensive ticket. I feel really special that I've got to see it. Me and Lucy were saying it feels like one of those things that's like a moment in like theatre history, like wow, we saw Rachel Zegler in Evita at the Palladium. It's one of those things that you can say to like your kids when they start liking theatre and they're like, did you go to see the theatre a lot? And you go, well, let me tell you, I saw Rachel Zegler in Evita. But yeah, I loved it, absolutely loved it. Everyone should go and see it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have, thank you for sticking around. If you have watched my videos before and you're back again, thank you. Please be kind, I'm so nervous. Let's see what's next. I'll see you soon, I love you lots. Bye. Oh my god, I've not done that in so long.